let's talk. Yeah.
Yeah.
You referred to your call as your heart strangely warmed and such things. So I guess my question, I'll get a little theological here with you. What is it about the United Methodist theology, the understanding of what Methodism is all about, that speaks to you?
So I was the day before graduation last year. I was visiting some friends in Gettysburg, and there's a Lutheran seminary in Gettysburg. And I was at a restaurant, and I was just hearing chit chat from all over, and I heard the word liturgy, and I'm like, oh, there's some seminary students in here. I'm gonna eavesdrop just a little bit, and turns out that they were Lutherans, and Lutherans go to Methodist seminaries, Methodists go to Lutheran seminaries. We all kind of mix match, and depending on what's closest. And so they were talking about some of their Methodist friends, and like, well, Methodists don't really have any doctrines. I mean, like, they leave church and they have this sign on the door that says, "You're now entering the mission field." And I'm thinking to myself, that's the it. That is the doctrine that I love so much. It's I feel every church has we go out and we do mission, but I feel that Methodism has this doctrine of mission that says that we are changed into something that, into a being that wants to go out. It's not just that we go out because we're supposed to. Yes. It's that we have this desire to go out. We're drawn out, and that for me is this beautiful thing, because it's not a task I have to do. Right. It's something that I can't not do. And I mean, and the other thing is that, I love my Lutheran and my Episcopal and my Roman Catholic and all of my brothers and sisters, but they like to explain things, and transubstantiation and all these little doctrines for why things happen and who's in. We have this beautiful doctrine of mystery in the church that it happens, and we don't know how, we don't know why, but it's there, and we're just gonna love it, and we're gonna embrace it, embrace it, and just see what happens, and I love the church, and I was born into it, and so I'm still here, but I do have that option to go somewhere else, and I'm not going to, because it's my home, it's where I feel the call of who I am, the essence of who I am, and I couldn't imagine being anywhere else.
Yeah, there's something very real about finding peace in that mystery. Yeah, and wholeness in that mystery. Yeah, that's great. So let's you brought up different denominations and such things, and one doesn't have to look very far outside of most churches and such things. The denominations are on the decline. Many churches are dying. Many churches are dead. What's your vision for the church? Let's say in the next 5, 10, then into the next generation, because we are really almost in the midst of a generation of unchurched people. Right. So what's your vision? What's your hope?
So we are in this age of secularism, and I would say it's one of the first times since the beginning of the church that more people are born outside of it than inside of it. And what I don't, a lot of people are like, oh, this, it's terrible, we gotta fix this. I'm like, there's opportunity here, like in more ways than ever before. I mean, I love my 50s and pastors from the 50s and 60s. My great uncle was one, and they didn't have to do anything, and people came to church, and that's great. But I actually like getting my hands dirty. I like talking to people. I like meeting people and having these relationships. But we also have this opportunity where we can look at the scriptures and actually act the same way that the church, the earliest church, was acting. The way that the apostles were in community, going out from place to place, talking to people, setting up these house churches, and just really changing the dynamic of church and what it is to be the church. It's not just enough just to come to the building on Sunday anymore. We have to actually have to go out there and live it. And I see this as an opportunity, not as the shrink as an opportunity. And having studied history to teach it, and as in part of seminary you do church history, there are these ebbs and flows, and it's not something, the church is not going anywhere. I I mean, outside of the U.S., the church is growing rapidly, and so I have no worries that the church is going anywhere. We just have to move forward and readapt and reimagine what it is that we're going to be. And I thank God that I get to be at the forefront of that reimagining and that looking at what's coming and what's new. And
the harvest is plentiful.
Yeah,
there's no doubt about that. Yeah. Yes, and these are certainly different times. But let me ask you that. Let me go a little bit deeper. In the midst of these times, very, very, very different times, what do you see the church's role in the world? What is that role? As we reach the unchurched, what then is the role of the church in the world, as you see it?
Yeah. For me, the way I see it is the role of the church hasn't changed in the years since Christ's death. We are there to spread the gospel, to give the good news to those who have not seen it. We are there to feed the hungry, clothe the naked, take care of the sick, and fight injustice and evil and oppression and just stand up and say, enough is enough. My big word is justice, and not the justice that we see on television, not the justice from the Old West where it's you killed my pa and I'm going to kill you. Yes. Real justice where murderer and victim are reconciled and can communicate, where sex offenders can live in communities and not have to fear that they're going to be ostracized or looked down on or villainized, and really reconnect people to not only to each other but also with God, and create the new Jerusalem, this new world that God has promised us, and that is our task is to go out. The Methodist mission statement is make disciples of Jesus Christ for the transformation of the world. We are transforming the world into the new thing that God has planned for us, and it's been our goal, it's been our mission from the beginning to now, and will be until it happens.
Yeah. I'm so proud to be a Methodist that they included that. It's not just about making disciples. These disciples are supposed to do something,
right,
to transform the world, not just make disciples. So, tell us a little bit about your new appointment, High Street United Methodist Church.
Yeah,
tell us a little something about that.
It's this church has been around since the late 1800s. They were originally Methodist Episcopal, which is the earliest Methodist church in the United States, and they have had 3 different buildings, all on the south side of Binghamton. It's the first 2 were on High Street, and the current one sits at the head of High Street. So it's not, the address is Vestal Ave, and I'm like, that doesn't, but it's High Street,
Yeah.
Okay. Well, you drive up High Street, you can't miss it because it's at the very top of the hill. And it's this beautiful building that was partially funded by the Johnsons way back in the 20s, and it's got this beautiful stained glass window. The congregation is somewhere, on a Sunday morning is somewhere between 60 and 80. We have a mix of the 70, 80-year-olds, and we have this great community of kids that come from, a couple blocks. They come without their parents, and there's about 20 of them. They all sit up front, and it's the most energizing thing I've ever seen to see these 20 kids just bouncing around. We have a couple people who help them with the hymnals and the bulletins, and we're always looking for more people to help, because 2 people in charge of 20 kids is not easy.
Yes.
And shout out to Debbie for taking charge of that. But it's this church that is constantly working to reach out into the community. There's a community meal, usually the last Friday of every month. There are a couple that, around Halloween. I think we're doing one on Halloween, which is a Monday this year, so it won't be the Friday before. And then a Christmas party that's going to be, I think, the 3rd Friday, the week before the 23rd. So, we're looking forward to meeting people. We love to talk to people. They are ready to move in a direction that is away from the everyday normal, what the model of church has been for the last 60 years, and try something new. I've never seen a church that's so ready to like, oh, we're ready to move in a new direction. Like,
wonderful.
Oh, yes. You telling me that? I would love. I can't wait to actually do it. So let's. Wonderful. If you're looking for a place to go that is trying something new, High Street is definitely on that. And I'm actually heading down to New Jersey to Drew University, where I went to seminary with my music director tomorrow, and we are going to what's called the Summer Music Institute down there, and where they look at new ways of doing worship and new ways of doing music, and so he and I are gonna go down there and check things out and bring it back to the church and incorporate those in the coming weeks and months, and it's gonna be a hopping place not too long from now.
Fantastic. You described the church for so long as just been business as usual, hoping people would jump into our boat, not seeing all the many other boats that are out there and such things. We're down to our time, and it's been great to be with you. And I just want to welcome you to this community. High Street United Methodist Church is in good hands, and I look forward to partnering with you and our churches partnering together, because we are a connectional church.
Amen.
And so I really appreciate you taking the time to be here, and we ask God's blessings upon your ministry.
Thank you. Thank you.
And welcome to Broome County.
Thank you.
That's awesome. Friends, I'm so grateful that you were able to join us today for this Encounter program. I pray God's blessings upon all of you, and may the peace that God brings give you a peace that goes beyond your understanding this day and all your days. God bless.